Lismore Soup Kitchen has existed for the last 33 years, and for the last 13 years has owned a beautiful old historic hotel in Lismore called the Winsome. During normal times, the Winsome feeds people for lunch, an amazing lunch, 365 days of the year. But after the flood of February 28th, basically the Winsome was wiped out, and the whole ground floor was just underwater, removing like our commercial kitchen and the way that we usually serve people. It's taken all year to rebuild the Winsome, and so just before Christmas we'll get able to get back in to the kitchen to actually start serving meals again. So we're now serving meals 365 days again. During the time of flood recovery, we got to know of a particular need in Lismore. The space that Tim and I are sitting in now is known as the Good Pantry, and previously known as the Lismore Food Hub. This space grew into action, or jumped into action, with the needs in Lismore for all sorts of resources, including food. It came to an end in around about May, June, in that they just didn't have resources to keep going. So the Lismore Soup Kitchen and the Lismore Catholic Diocese jumped into action and said, we think we can keep this going. And so it now operates as a low-cost grocery venue in East Lismore, providing for people who need help with their weekly grocery shop. Tim, anything you want to add to that in terms of how we operate now?
We are still primarily looking after people who cost of living is an issue, but I guess more to do with the donation of the SIM cards by Optus. That was primarily for people who were flood affected. And in Lismore, just because of the geography, the suburbs that flooded were the places where people could get cheap houses or cheap mortgages. And they were the people in town who were already probably doing it tougher than everybody else. And a natural disaster where you lose your home, lots of people lost their jobs, the places they worked at didn't exist anymore. The opportunity to get a free SIM card just took that extra layer of load off a lot of people at the time when they needed it.
Yeah, so we really are seeing people who are under financial stress, and even if someone has a job, like lots of the houses that got flooded, they may not have had insurance, and so just out of what resources they have, a lot of money that people has is going back in to try and get their house back to a livable stage again. One of the other projects that's running in Lismore now is through Resilient Lismore, where they call it 2 Rooms Project, making at least 2 rooms in a house livable again for people. So in that, I suppose all of that conversation, it's this thing about how communication and connectivity and people being able to connect with each other is still a quite important thing. So I figure...
Yeah, I noticed after the floods, our mobile phone networks were just slammed and it was difficult to communicate. And it wasn't until you couldn't communicate like you used to that it became really apparent that it's very important. And I guess what we do as, almost chaplains in the community, a large part of what we do is communicate with people, usually face to face. But if we extend that for people being able to communicate electronically, it was just a great gift for people who needed it.
Yeah. So, apart from the things that, like SIM cards that we've been able to provide here, we've also been able to give away some other resources for people who have been flood affected as well. So, in one sense, the SIM cards are an important part of that. Just before Christmas, we ordered a pallet load of Lego through the Good 360 organisation, and so we're able to give Lego away to families for their kids for Christmas. Another donation that we've received recently was 300 lounge chairs, 2 of which we're sitting on now, that we're giving away to the community as well. We've also got hampers that we regularly give out to the community. One of the things that we set up this to be low cost in that someone who comes to shop in our pantry, they will say spend $10 for a bag of groceries, and in that groceries there's probably anywhere between say $40 to $60 worth of value in that one bag of groceries. So that's the main way that we're trying to help people here going forward. Anything else you want to say about that, Tim?
Just that we've talked about Lego, we've talked about chairs, we've got this growing network of people bringing things, farmers bringing excess vegetables in that we're able to just distribute freely to people who need them. And we're starting to view ourselves as a little bit of a conduit where we often get things that are donated that we don't know what we're going to do with. But somehow magically within a week or 2 weeks, people turn up and find a use for them. So we're very open to whatever comes our way because people are needing everything at the moment in town.
Yeah. A couple of the supermarkets in town have been really helpful. We do a daily bread pickup from Woolies and from Aldi.
Yep.
There's also other things that come with that sometimes as well, which is great. So it's really good that we've got partnership with those places as well.
Yeah.
So one of the things I'd just like to say is thank you to Optus for providing the SIM cards, because it really does make a difference for some people. Thank you.